What's going on? This is the Broke Genius, and welcome to the life of a broke genius. Welcome to my channel.
Come check out owlsherbs.com where we have all of your herbal needs and different variety of products from sea moss to black seed oil and a different variety of products for different health issues because your health is your wealth. All right. I'm gonna be talking about something I normally don't talk about. I normally don't engage into politics, but I just I just wanted to talk about it because it's something that has definitely changed my life. Kind of around the time that I started this channel, I was in the throes of dealing with the mortgage collapse in 2008, and that was right around the time of the first election of former President Barack Obama, and it was something that it was like very close as far as the degrees of separation from me and uh, former President Barack Obama is like probably like 1 to 2 degrees because my grandfather he mentioned that he went to like Democratic candidate dinners and stuff like that. He knows my grandfather basically one of his friends is actually the person that replaced Obama's Senate seat. So it is very close as far as the degrees of separation. And that's not saying that much because one thing about, let's just say, Black Chicago, it's very small. A lot of people know other people that know people that know people. It's not that big. You know, Chicago has a lot of Black people, but once you go outside of Chicago, you start to notice how, as far as population, how that 13 or 14% of the population is actually accurate because certain areas outside of Chicago, it's not that many Black people. But yeah, I mean, I've never met uh, the president, Barack Obama, ever in my life. I've never been in the same room. But the thing is that one of the things that I learned from, I guess you would say, post presidency, that I didn't really know. I probably heard about. I'm pretty sure I heard about it. But I got a really good education on the actual process. A lot of what I'm going to say is very opinionated. It's from my opinion. It's not necessarily something based off of facts or anything. It's very opinionated, but my opinions are very very poignant and strong. But these viewpoints are just my opinion. Okay, so I mean, don't bite my head off, in the comment section or whatever. But I'm gonna just give a few points of what I learned in this presidential um, process that happened between what was the first election, 2008, from 2008 to about 8 years. So about 2000, no, it wasn't 2008. He first, let's see, I think it was 2008. So, pretty much to let's see, 2016. So 2008 to 2016, pretty much. And this is just basically something that I observed in the first election cycle. Because honestly, after the first election, um, I kind of saw things for, like I said, I'm going to talk about as far as my opinion, what I think about this government, what I think about what actually goes on, who actually has authority and rulership and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get right into it. So one of the first things that I learned, that it's just, as far as what I saw is in this election, as far as not even election, but um time in office that Obama had, was basically, I learned how limited the presidential powers is, basically. I mean, a lot of things is based off of the public, but primarily even before the public, which I'm going to get into. A president is a person. I mean, he's a person in power, but he's it's certain people that you never hear about. It's certain people that are in power, or behind certain moves and stuff like that that you can make, that you would never know these people exist. You don't know who they are. They're in the shadows, I'll just say. And you have to appease these people. You have to make decisions based off of your voting block, and people that are around you. And it's not like you could just do whatever you want to. A lot of the presidents that have just did whatever they want to, let's just say they didn't last too long in office, and quite a few of them didn't even make it out of their office alive. Okay, so you just, as a president, you can't do whatever you want to. A lot of people, expected him to do this and do that and do that. And then here's another thing. This is kind of a side. This is not. I didn't necessarily mention this, and so I'm, going to talk about a couple of things. But one of the things that I learned, as far as who the person is, who Obama actually is, as far as his ethnicity and certain things of that nature. One of the things of me being a student of history is what I know about history, right? Is that you know being from, let's just say, like just the Persian Empire. They were black rulers, or in yeah, Persian kings, right? And they had certain powers and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know, the the ancient Persians, like before it was actually Persia, it was Mesopotamia. Yeah, it was definitely a black origin story there, right? A black historical origin. Uh, even much so that if you looked at the Iraq War, they actually have black people that live there, and they date back to thousands of years ago, when the Persians took over that region, and they kept the black people there as slaves. Well, out of that class, arose kings that were Persian kings, that, yes, they were black. And that's what Obama reminded me of. He reminded me of the Persian king that arose from the slave class. Because, I mean, I'm gonna be kind of, people probably are not gonna like this video, because it's gonna be I'm gonna say some things that people in high and low places would definitely not like. me saying, but just make no bones about it. Even black people in this country, other people, non-black, let's just say, they look at us as a slave class. Okay. When I noticed the limits, the limits that Obama was, basically the powers that he was able to do as far as the limitations he had, it just reminded me of those black rulers in Persia that they just arose from being on the bottom of society in Persia and arose to being a king. And it just had those connotations to that, high of a position, you know, in this certain environment that we live in, okay? Even though it's not that old, it's not thousands of years old, it's more like 300-400 years, okay? But that's what I noticed as far as the very limited presidential powers that he had, and that goes for other presidents as well. I mean, presidents have the decisions that they have to make out of the public, off of the populace, as well as let's just say those hidden hands that play a role in decision making. Okay. So, number two is what I learned, is that this is my opinion, and that is the candidate selection of the president. I strongly believe is handpicked. I mean, you might think that it's electoral college has something to do with it, and popular vote has something to do with it. Um, I have to go to those hidden hands again. And I definitely believe that the candidate for president is basically handpicked. I literally believed. I saw that really kind of like, I guess it took a black man to pay attention to that, for me to pay attention to that. And I know I'm not the only person that noticed this, but definitely Barack Obama was definitely groomed to be president. Okay. In my opinion, he definitely was handpicked for the job. He got voted in, but I definitely don't think that it's a game of chance when it comes to who becomes president. Okay. Um, it might be surprising. It might be the pick might not be what that those hidden hands want, right? But it's nevertheless the pick that they have to go with, right? Even if they don't, let's say, like their pick, okay. Um, like in this, I'll just say, in for example, uh, Trump, the pick, the let's just say the pickers, they didn't really like to pick Trump or have to uh rally around or circle around this guy, but that was the pick. Hillary wasn't an option. Nobody else was an option. He was the option. Okay, this is just my opinion. I know people might feel like, damn, their heart might drop down into their stomach, and they might you know be like, I'm talking caca, but I definitely do believe that the candidates are, to a certain extent, handpicked. Okay, this might be tinfoil hat talk. I don't care. Just my opinion. Okay. Now, thirdly, and more kind of going into the rabbit hole. Okay, this country is ruled by oligarchs. Okay. If you don't know what oligarch is, just Google is your friend, dictionary is your friend. Look it up. And in this country, just like most countries, are ruled by oligarchs. Okay. Basically, oligarchs are the ruling. Like, see, I might be the broke genius. Well, I'm definitely a genius. Okay, I definitely know what the hell is going on. I'm that man of knowledge, no doubt, no question. Okay, and the thing about it is, what I know what's going on is what's going on around the world. Most countries they're ruled and influenced by the elites, by the rich. People. I know I get low views, and you know, most of the time, it is what it is. But most people, my content ain't for everybody. Okay, my content is for a few people. I don't make content for the sheep. I don't make content for the herd. I don't really make my content ain't necessarily all for the herd, or for the sheep. Okay, my content is definitely for the wolves and the lions. Okay, uh you know even the snakes, because I mean, basically, this is not something that people really, the I guess deaf, dumb, and blind would really want to pay attention to. But the thing is that nevertheless, all around the world, definitely, the oligarchs are definitely typically in power. Okay, in United States of America is no different. Okay, this is something that I kind of learned later in life. It took me till my 20s to really get this, and I never did not get it. It's never. I don't even think this is an opinion. This is not even an opinion of mine. This is definitely something that I've known for years. Okay, and the reason um why I did the video as far as the class system, why I was so passionate. I was kind of somewhat. Sometimes you could tell by certain videos how passionate I am about it, or um, the way I even talk about certain things, you could tell the difference, okay, between something that I'm just kind of talking about because I'm just talking about it for just sake of talking about it, versus talking about it because certain level of passion or a certain level of um, interest that I have in a particular topic. Well, when I did the video where I was talking about the class system in America, and um, the different classes, I was very, very passionate about that video. I was very intrigued about that article that I found from that organization, and one of the intriguing parts about it was the last segment of that class system, which was the owning and ruling class. Okay, people, when they talk about class, they typically talk about uh, poverty, right, and working class, middle class, and upper class. They don't say the words ruling and owner class. Okay, that description from that article from that organization that I read, it basically laid out what is actually exactly it is what it is. It did not sugarcoat the class system like most generally what people know of a class system. It put it out right there, uh in the skinny, in as far as what is what. Okay, there's very much a owning and ruling class. Okay, and I've never read any basis point as far as any articles. I've done countless videos talking about class systems and stuff like that, but I never even read anything that pointed out the upper class as there's a ruling and ownership class, and very much they are. And these people that are, the uber rich, as I call them, as the 0.001%, you know those guys that go shoot up in outer space like People that take a casual drive in their Corvettes on a Saturday or Sunday uh, uh, evening. Those guys. Yeah. Just just take a casual space flight and then come back down to orbit. Yeah. Those are oligarchs. Those are the oligarchs that run this society, that run this world, basically. Okay, and that's what this country is ruled by. Yeah, you can vote. You can make impact at your local city council. You could definitely do so. You can initiate change in the democratic process, but notice this. Make no bones about it. The oligarchs, they run this shit, man. And they make sure that they run it, like a fine tooth comb. And they know who you are. They know who I am. You best believe it. Yeah, this is 10 for it. This is a little 10. I got my saran wrap, or not saran wrap, but I got my Reynolds wrap cap on a little bit today. You starting to see this is a little tinfoil hat talk a little bit. And yeah, they know who you are. They know, as far as, like, like, for example, the NSA and the CIA and all of that. They got files on people. Okay, they know who certain individuals are. I mean, I worked in the government. I was I was in the military, so I definitely have a file. They know who this wacky guy is in Chicago or wherever that I am. They definitely know. It doesn't matter if you're broke or some dude or whatever. They probably even know and waiting for you to get to a certain level, because um they definitely watch. They definitely keep track of whoever and like I say, I've said it kind of before. uh every whatever it be, a kingdom or whatever, they keep track of people, keep track of their scholars, their elite, their you know um scientists, geniuses, whatever, people that they can utilize. I mean, that goes back, thousands of years. I mean, people keep track of their, people that could inflict change, or intelligence, or intelligentsia, whatever the case may be. And I'm not gloating or anything like that. And it definitely is people that's way, way smarter than I am. But you know, it is these people, and I'm not saying that they um are to be, they're like some angelical beings that have wings and can fly. I don't want to paint that type of picture, but um the people that not so much the uber rich, that, let's just say, the guy that works at the company that writes your paycheck. I'm not necessarily talking about those guys. I'm not talking about the guy that he owns the meat packaging plant that you work for, or he he's the CEO of the company that you work for, but it's just like a little small private company. No, no. When I'm talking about oligarchs, I'm talking about. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Eyes Wide Shut. If you ever saw the movie Eyes Wide Shut, where Tom Cruise, he was starting to get down, trying to go into the rabbit hole and find out who these people are that shows up to these parties and shit. And he went to this, like, guys. This guy didn't even live in a mansion. He lived in, like, chateau or some shit, and he had this big ass fence, you know, that went probably for like a quarter of a mile. and he just lived on this big ass estate. And the guy showed up at the fence and basically was like, "If you don't get the fuck up out of my face, you're gonna have hell to pay." Those guys are who I'm talking about. People that probably on record as being rich, but you don't even know who they are. You know, yeah, some of the people, yeah, the Walmart motherfuckers, the Waltons, and all those people, right? Yeah, they definitely are oligarchs. But you got people that they're rich and you don't even know they're not on the Forbes list. They not they not on even anybody's list because you don't even know these people. You know, they're inheritance heirs of in estates and trusts and shit like that. And you know, you don't even know uh these people's names or anything like that. Those are the people that I'm talking about. You know, they mix in with the other people that you do know of. And yeah, I mean, it's that those types of people that you know, like they have more money than the average uber rich person. Because yeah, uber rich, like, you know, what, 10 to 15 million dollars, right? They make a year. Well, these people, they got that, and they make that in interest every year, you know, and that's just one of their checking accounts, or you know, money market accounts or wealth funds or whatever. These people have billions of dollars, okay, and that's just the money that they have on paper. You know, they have money all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They have like hidden money. You know what I'm saying? You can have like this shit. That's why, you know, the end of the day, that's why, like, I don't really care about, I don't really try to focus on like the right now, as far as I don't focus too much on the short game. Yeah, I try to manage stuff. And if you don't understand the stuff that I'm talking about, you have to watch my videos to, you know, I explain the short game and the long game. Yeah, I focus on the short game, right? I'm in the short game, but I do what I need to do, pay bills and keep, you know, keep myself above water as best as I possibly can. But I trust and believe. I know about the long game. I know that, like I said, it's people that were born playing the long game. And just briefly to talk about the long game versus the short game. The short game is basically doing chip shots and shooting out the rough, and you know, shooting out the sand, as far as golf terminology. And you're doing what you got to do to hack away at life to just survive. Most people are in the short game, but you have some people that they move from the short game to the long game, which is, you know, long term investment strategies to transfer wealth to your children. You know, long term, uh, you know, strategies for just basically taking the wealth that you have right now and just becoming more wealthy or re-rich. Okay, you're already rich, but you want to continuously be re-rich. Like, that's the long game. And you know, a lot of people don't never make it out to the long game. They most people, let's just face it, they hack away at life. They stay in the short game for the rest of their life. You know, a friend of mine, and I'm, you know, I'm definitely going, I'm still in topic. I'm kind of diverting to a little bit, but you know, a friend of mine, and even my parents, I mean, uh you know, his father just died. Man, his father, he worked all his life. He didn't get nothing damn near for free. Not a wink for free. I mean, he worked all the way till his early death. I mean, he wasn't even that old. His father wasn't even that old when he passed away. And I mean, he just worked every day. I mean, almost every day. He worked his foot got cut off actually, and he still was trying to go back to work. Like, I mean, and the thing is that, you know, that's what he knew. That's all he knew. And most people, that's what their life was. I mean, he lived good. He was able to pay off his house. He lived pretty decent. By I mean, no, by no means did he not get the fruits from his labor. And I mean, but most people don't get to the long game, unfortunately. And we never know if you were going to even get to the long game if you're not already there, right? Because it's some people, going back to oligarchs, they're born in the long game. Okay, you know, they born, right, and they already have. Okay, their parents are billionaires, or worth combined $500 million. Yeah, by the time they turn 18, they will inherit, probably at least 100 million, if not ultimately all of their parents' estate when they get old and pass away. I mean, some people are born actually in the long game. I mean, they actually are trust fund babies. I mean, that figure is very relatively low. Um, Only about less than 10% of people are actually rich by proxy of inheritance. A good probably three times that number is people that they got a combination of inheritance, and they had to do some type of self endeavors to get to be wealthy. But the thing is that this is why I don't focus on, like, a lot of times people have tunnel vision and they focus on whatever struggles they're doing right now in the short game. Like for me, like I'm already put my little broke stories out there. And I don't even, a lot of times people, they feel bad about their financial struggles. They don't really want to talk about it, and they try to even hide. They try to pretend like they're not broke, right? They go buy the little brand new car, because one thing about black people, we don't manufacture any cars other than working for a car uh, on the assembly line, making the cars. Definitely make the cars, okay, but we don't have any Tesla. It's no black Teslas. It's no black car companies that I know of. It's some African companies, but African Americans don't have no African American car brand. But we love cars so much. We like to judge each other off each other's cars, and um, cats still have the big old rims, and they think that shit looks cool. I'm gonna be honest. When I was younger, rims was like really really cool. Rims and sounds. When I see a nigga with rims and sounds, or whoever has rims and sounds, that shit, it looks like a complete clown. I mean, a clown. Because the thing about it is, most of the time when I see it, it's usually in a hood. It's usually around the hood or outside the hood, and it just screams brokenness. It screams just a lack of wealth. Because the thing about it is, I mean, very rarely is wealthy people actually have those things. Now I get it. I'm not gonna shit on black people that bad, because I mean, if you look at King Tut's chariot, I mean, it was all gold, gold wheels. I mean, everything was gold, right? His tomb that they raided, right? It just gold bracelets, gold necklaces, gold uh shoes, sandals, everything gold, gold, figurines with cats and dogs. I mean, yeah, we're definitely I guess our birthright is gold and diamonds and all that type of stuff, right? But the thing is that that's not necessarily what I see when I see the rims and stuff like that. It's like what I see is a strong emphasis on liking cars and brand new cars, but not actually liking what creates wealth. And cars are not wealth creators. You know, People talk about real estate, real estate, because yeah, real estate is more of a wealth creator than a car will ever be. Okay, as soon as you drive, if you got so much money, it's like a lot of times people bragging about how much money they have. Well, if you got so much money, do me a favor, and people people have been bragging and they've gotten themselves in a lot of trouble off YouTube. We all know who I'm talking about. And you could even see, people that buy cars. You go buy a car right now, you can't resell the car tomorrow for what you paid for it. I mean, I would, you could do an experiment, try it. Go buy a brand new car for the price that the sticker price that they sell it to you for, and then go to the next day, go try to sell it for the same price. And you could give I can give you 90 days to sell it for that same price, and you wouldn't be able to. So I mean, the thing about it is, yeah, a lot of black people strongly emphasize cars so much. I mean, they judge you off of the car you drive, and it's really weird to me because you would think, okay, people would judge you off where you live, versus like what your car actually is, because that ultimately makes more of a call as far as where you are at in life. If because you could have a Bentley and pull into an apartment building. And I've actually seen that. I've seen people with luxury cars that are parked in apartment buildings or pull in an apartment building. Okay, so uh and they don't own the apartment building. They're just renting there or even living with somebody. So all of that aside, it's just, the thing is that I don't get zeroed into this to my reality. Now it might be a Jedi mind trick that I do. Needless to say, I don't zero in and focus on it too hard because I'm chipping, but while I'm chipping, I'm also looking down towards the hole. I'm looking towards the green. I'm looking towards the finish line. I mean, I'm looking towards the other hole, and see if I can hit as far as I possibly can. I'm not just focusing on my chip shot that I'm making or whatever. I'm still focused on the big play here. Trillions of dollars are traded every single day, focused on who has the money. Just recently, China just they said surpassed the United States as far as uh, economies. Their economy grew larger than the U.S. economy. That was reported on, I think, Business Insider or something like that. So I mean, I'm focused on who has the money, who's at play, who's making moves, stuff like that. And I don't focus on, okay, what I have right now, what's going on, and stuff like that. A lot of times people do, and they get tunnel vision as far as they panic and they start crackling and stuff like that. And it takes a certain type of mindset. Um, what I do is I just kind of just stop and then focus as far as I use my imagination. I close my eyes even when I get an opportunity to do so, and I vision a better situation, kind of more of mind over matter. That's what I do. That's what I do, and I'll just say I've been in places where the only opportunity I had was my mind to think about. Like I've been in situations where I couldn't go anywhere, and in my mind, basically wandered a lot in my imagination and stuff like that. So I've been in, no matter even what the situation is, as far as what I'm going through, I've been in the worst of situations. So it's a lot easier for me to manage a lot of things versus, let's just say, being somewhere where you can't leave. Okay. So but the thing is that, yeah, oligarchs, I've definitely saw that in the Obama election. I mean, even the election, as far as even after the election, once he was in office, I saw how that played a bigger role into what actually goes on into this country versus, you know, just the president per se, and how entrenched that actually is. Okay, and I mean, this is just, I'm not gonna go into too much further about this. And I mean, it's just something that I just had to get off my chest. And uh if I'm not really that political, and one of the reasons why I'm not political is that I'm gonna go back to this old chart that I did on Maslow's theory of needs. I'm gonna go back to this. Okay, the reason why I don't focus on politics, why I hear people talking about politics, and the people that I hear talking about politics, I'm very much hoping that these people are at the top, right? At this top of this chart here. Because the thing about it is, and I'm going to go through this briefly, and this is why I don't really focus on politics. Unfortunately, I'm dealing with this bottom stuff here, even though I make quite a bit of money in the middle here, right? But I'm so far behind. I'm still dealing with this shit down below and shit like this. Like for example, I make no bones about it. I'm dealing with fucking red. Okay, even even with me making middle money, going towards the higher, the middle class. That word middle class, right? I mean, I'm still dealing with this bumfuck shit down here because, like I say, and that's what Kevin Samuels says. It ain't you make $120,000 a year, 1 year, and boom, yeah, I'm a high value man. Yeah, baby, I'm a high value man. No, you got to make that probably 3 or 4 years because, see, here's the thing. Okay, it might take me, well, probably 6 months, but it's gonna take me a while to actually get this shit. I've been working on this shit down here since uh at least a year and a half ago. Okay. And I'm still working on this fucking shit. Okay. Safety and security. Okay, this safety and security and psychological need shit, I'm still fucking dealing with this shit. I'm trying to beat the hell out of this motherfucker here, orange and red. So the thing about it is, and the reason why I don't, this is why I don't focus on politics. Okay, because I'm dealing with this shit. Okay, politics is actually probably more in the purple, that you're the purple and green section. Now I should be in at least the green section by proxy of this. I should be in the yellow and more of the green section, right? I should be like, really able to fucking, have rich sex, or I don't know, middle class sex, I guess, and really work on my self-esteem and shit like that, right? But it's gonna take me a while to get there because I've been, dealing with life and been had my struggles and I'm trying to be consistent, right? So it takes a while. And this is a no cap zone. I don't cap on the internet. I don't cap on YouTube. So I'm full front and honest, as far as what is actually going on in my life. Because the thing about it is, here's the thing. I'm one of millions, tens of millions of people that are struggling in America. It ain't just fucking me. I just got enough balls, and it's very easy for me to do so, to fucking explain what is actually going on in my life. Because the thing about it is, it's very good to do that because when you become honest, you don't lie to yourself. So you can tell people no easily. People ask me for change and they be like, "You got some change?" Man, I don't have any fucking change, man. I'm broke as hell. That's what I tell them. Like, people probably don't want to say that, but I literally tell people asking me for money, I'm broke as hell. I don't have it. I mean, it's like that. Like, I don't like capping for people and shit like that. Some people, like, they like doing that. I don't like doing that. So the thing is that, like I say, politics is more uh green and purple. Okay, I'm still dealing with this bottom shit. So I don't fucking focus on politics because it's not my lane. Now, okay, some people will say, what would be the argument? Well, that's when you really need to start focusing on politics, because you gotta fucking deal with all of this shit here. Well, you forgot one thing. People have to work, they have to conduct business, they have contracts, and I'm one of those people. So yeah, I don't have time to be, going to fucking the offices of the city governments and shit like that and begging fucking politicians to do shit or begging for grants and shit. And a lot of people are getting in trouble because they're getting grants and they're not paying them back and shit like that. Even Brett Favre, right? Brett Favre, okay, I go, get my little news articles whenever I get a chance. And I'm reading an article about Brett Favre getting $800,000 from the state of Mississippi's, like, basically welfare system, right? And they paid him the money, and he was supposed to pay it back, right? He made a tweet saying he's gonna pay it back and blah blah blah. Well, here's the thing. Brett Favre must be broke as well because he hasn't paid it back. Okay, a lot of these people, man, you know, a lot of those guys that got hooked up on the fraud for taking the healthcare funds from the NFL and the NBA. I mean, we all know about the stories of athletes get millions of dollars and then going broke, right? I mean, they took equivalent of $100,000 a piece. I mean, they were so broke, they were trying to squeeze 100 grand check so they can get some last little just blood from a turnip from the NBA because they were so used to a lifestyle of money and expensive tastes and stuff like that, that they literally was just trying to get one little last hope of that money coming in, before they start losing their house and losing everything else that they pretty much got from the NBA. Because a lot of those guys, they have to go back to the regular life. In regular life, if they're not lucky enough to get a sports analysis job, it's just working just like anybody else, just going to the office. uh you know if they're most of them, if they're lucky, they can get some type of corporate job where they're at least a manager. But some of them have to go be like a UPS driver. I mean, that's the NBA and the NFL. I mean, uh, what's that guy that he used to sing in the late '90s and the early 2000s? He had a few hit songs. Jaheim is I think he got hooked up for some fraud or something too. He's a Uber driver. Okay, he's delivering Uber Eats. Could you imagine the guy that sung "You Can Have Anything You Want"? It was like number one or something on the charts. He's a Uber driver, man. Okay, he's delivering Uber Eats, man. I mean, it just okay. This broke shit, man. It's really really if you don't know how to deal with money, you don't know if you most people are not taught. Okay, a lot of the people that are oligarchs and stuff like that, they were taught how to be rich. They were taught lessons of how to be wealthy. I mean, and it ain't just one book. It ain't just Richest Man of Babylon. They were actually taught how this shit works, what to look out for, all this other stuff that a lot of people are not taught. Even in school, they took out just basic education. Like it was just basic personal finance, which is basically how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, how to balance a account, how to write a check, how to check your account. Like they don't teach that even in high school. So the thing is that it's definitely a push for financial education, but most people don't get financially educated in high school. You don't get financial education in college unless your major is accounting, business management. So most people, and especially if you grew up in the ghetto in the hood, you are not going to be educated to manage that money, to know what to do with it. And it just goes quick. It goes quick. I mean, you know, I never forget, I've talked about the Eddie Curry story. I'm not going to talk about Eddie Curry anymore, but because I talked about it on my channel. I mean, he's one of those guys that he was definitely everybody knew he was going to go to the NBA straight out of high school because he was just a freak of nature as far as his height and in his athletic ability, even in before he got into high school. So it's like, we got, I'm not going to go into all the story. It's one of many Eddie Currys and stuff like that. I mean, it's just the whole situation where it's basically, like I say, four types of men. It's the man with no knowledge and no money, the man with money and no knowledge, the man with knowledge but no money, and then the man with knowledge and money. Most people, if they get money, they have no knowledge, so they lose the money. Okay, and then they go back to being the man with no knowledge and no money. And if they're lucky, they can get some knowledge, but not all people get it. So it's like, yeah, it's just this downward spiral that it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna continue to happen. It's gonna be like a continuous cycle. But um, like I say, this is my take on this topic, and it's just something that changed my way of how I deal with politics and how I look at politics. Because, like I say, I the reason I don't talk about politics is I'm just not got all of my prerequisites in life in order to focus on politics. I don't think people that can barely pay for a place to live or pay for, basic things or basic needs should be focused on politics, be talking, wasting their time talking about politics. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather people talk about politics than talk about Keisha and Bonquisha. Like, I mean, if you're just talking about women all day and you broke as hell, I mean, it's better that you actually talk about politics, because that is a total waste of time talking about women when you're broke as fuck. Like, I mean, because all you can have is poor sex. You can have basically poor survival sex. I mean, you can't have any love and belonging when you can't even pay for a place for your loved one to live. I mean, that's why a lot of times people go to divorce court, or they have, these rocky ass toxic relationships, because they don't have the money to take care of themselves or someone else. So it's a situation where, you know, you're barely able to pay for things. And then once the man is not able to take care of certain things, the woman usually lashes out at him, and then it gets into a violent situation, or at the very least, both parties, go their separate ways. And it's because, basically the person is not at this yellow level. It's not at the level where he can actually have enough money to even have some type of solid intimacy, because he hasn't took care of the safety and security level and the psychological needs. Those things are not taken care of. One of the things that I have to agree with Edward Anderson is, as far as Love Dorsey, and why I do really, so I don't listen to Love Dorsey all the time. I mean, she is kind of ratchet, yeah, but she does say some stuff that resonates with me, because I'll say one video that it was really like, man, it was like damn, like my sister talking to me, because she was talking about, and it's on my social media page on Broke Genius. I mean, she was talking about having your needs met. A lot of guys don't have their needs met, so they have to get with women, or not that they have to get with women, they get with women, and they have to do certain things, or they can't say really what they want to say. They can't really move how they want to move, because they don't have their basic needs in order. So they need that woman. I mean, it's getting colder. Guys is going into homosexual season, and they can't say nothing. They got to sit around the house. And imagine you sitting around the house and your woman is talking shit, and you got to take it, because you ain't got no fucking place to live. She's tied into the mortgage, or she's tied into the lease. You expect her half of the rent or whatever, and you need her to pay it. And you can't say nothing, because you need her to pay that rent. You need her to pay the bills. So you gotta fucking like go drink and go like hang out and leave or whatever, just to have some peace, because you ain't got no peace, because you ain't dealt with this, this up here. You haven't dealt with your needs. And it's just like, I know I'm rambling, but that's why I don't fucking really focus on politics like that. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been dealing with this shit in the middle, at the bottom, right, for the longest. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like I've been dealing with this shit for the longest time. And yeah, I'm smart enough to understand I ain't focused on no politics. I'm not even focused on relationships, really, to be honest, because I got a lot of work to do. And I admit that I have work to do. I don't, like I say, I don't cap. I'm not looking for friends on YouTube. I'm not looking for friends on social media. So I mean, the thing about it is, I just, like I say, I mean, always self-improvement. My whole thing is definitely self-improvement of one of all of the things that I mentioned. And the thing is that that's why a lot of guys and girls, well, women, have problems, is because they don't deal with their needs. They don't deal with this chart here, and I think I always will go back to this chart, and this chart is definitely, I mean, I spent it into a financial type of thing, but I definitely think that this is, Maslow's is definitely a genius for creating this chart, and it's definitely something that people need to work on instead of like focusing on shit that you shouldn't be focusing on. You should be focusing on the things that you have to deal with, and I'm not gonna say that even if you're rich, you're not, like, let's just say if you got $1 million in the bank, you still got to deal with the bottom and everything else too, because it might be a situation where there's a hurricane, or power outage. Well, if you didn't prep for that, if you didn't have a generator, if you didn't have water stored, you know, uh, you didn't have any wood for the fire, well, you're gonna drop right back at the damn red zone, having $1 million in the bank because you didn't deal with, the emergencies and stuff like that. You didn't deal with safety and security because your ass, you didn't go get a gun and some bullets and some ammo. So you still have to deal with all of this, even if you do go on to a higher level. You don't just because you're, go up the higher tiers, you can just be like, oh yeah, well, I can just sleep in my mansion and, or mini mansion or whatever, and just enjoy the rest of my life and don't have to worry about anything. No, you still have to still worry about the bottom and the top and deal with all of those things. It's just, what I'm saying is that a lot of times what people do is they focusing on the top when they don't really have the bottom solid. They don't have all of the things at the bottom in the middle tier together. And then they're wondering why they're having problems with, love with women and belonging and shit like that and stuff like that. Because women's nature is actually to um have someone to take care of them financially and stuff like that, and provide for them. So if you don't have this bottom stuff taken care of, you really gonna have a problem. And then to close things off, actually, Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, was about to leave him because he actually had a bad election cycle when he was voting, when he was running for Congress, and he lost that race. It was a real bad race that he lost, and it bankrupted him. And his wife was about to leave him. Okay, so because a lot of money was lost, a lot of time was lost. So definitely, it's something to say. But I mean, nevertheless, I'm gonna close this on out. I've said quite a few. um this is my take on this situation as far as the presidency of Obama. I mean, just to close things on out, they are, I believe, building some type of Obama presidential library or something like that in the south side of Chicago. um Real estate prices will be rising, like I said before. I think that they're going to be breaking ground. They already broke ground. Okay, Obama came into town. He broke ground on the development. So yeah, I believe it's going to be right around O Block. So uh, you know, that's real estate prices is definitely going to be rising on the south side, right around that area, right around the University of Chicago. So yep. I mean, the thing is that I learned quite a bit from that presidency. I learned quite a bit that, take it or leave it. Something that changed my life, just like the real estate mortgage crisis. Okay, so this is all I have. Have a good evening. Hope you learned something from this.